The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at Athern.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975.
Additional support for What's Neat This Week is brought to you by SoundTraxx, industry leaders in model railroad sound and technology for over 30 years. Now please visit our website at SoundTraxx.com, and at checkout, be sure to use the promo code WNTW15 for 15% off of your purchases. And while you're there, be sure to check out our YouTube channel and other information that we have on our website to help you get more familiar with Model Railroader Reader's Choice Award winner 2 times for Favorite Sound Decoder.
Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 138 for December 5th, 2020. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine, and the December show just came out. I just got done reading some of the comments on it, and y'all are too kind. I'm glad you enjoy the segment on how we installed the TCS speedometer in the layout. It's kind of cool. Tonight I've got a lot of great people with me, starting with my wonderful wife, Michele Patterson. Hello, Michele.
Hello.
I've also got Sugar Fire Joshua Barton.
What's up, everybody?
Hey. I've got Austin Allard sitting over here.
Hey, how's it going?
Austin. And in Skype land, we have the great Rand Hood. Hey, Rand.
Hello. Hi, Rand.
Hey there.
It's awesome to have you, brother. You're smiling, and it makes me smile because today's day was sunny, and I love when I get to say that. Athern sent me some locomotives to shoot this week, first time in a couple of weeks, and these are GP7s in stock. And I shot some video outside just to show you the beautiful sunshine and the photo shoot that I set up out there. But these units are a Wabash number 462. I shot a top shot of it and a side shot of it. These units have got some pretty neat lighting effects in them too. I tested them on the layout a few minutes ago. I also have a Norfolk and Western number 3462 that I shot outside. These are brand new units that are currently in stock. So guys, these are perfect for Christmas. And I did a photograph where both of them are side by side, as you can see here. Just wonderful models from Athearn Trains. We really appreciate Athearn sponsoring our show. Also, if you check out in their new announcements, and there are some new announcements, and I'm going to cover some this week and next week. There's so many. But they have the GP9s being reissued. The last time we saw these was back in 2013. And now they're being reissued with the current technology of LEDs and Tsunami 2 sound. I've got the Union Pacifics on the table, and the reason for that is because Athearn's making the B unit, which is an absolutely amazing cabless unit with a single porthole on the side. And that's in, Joshua, you got this right in front of you here.
There.
That's right here in the diesel locomotive GP9 announcement, the PDFs. These orders are due by 12/28 of this year. So get your orders in. They're also coming out with L&N, Boston and Maine, Santa Fe, Toronto, Hamilton, and Buffalo, and also Canadian Pacific. And again, these have got LED lights in them, rubber hoses, Tsunami 2 sound, and all the really cool stuff that we appreciate that Athearn does for us. And with that, we're going to go out to Rand Hood. Rand, I know you've got a lot of cool stuff that you wanted to talk about tonight.
Oh, one of the greatest things was, Cyber Monday and all those kind of things.
Yes.
From my favorite hobby shop, Lombard Hobbies in Illinois. They did a little promotional thing of a business card that is so cool. These guys are just genius. I sent you a picture of it, but also here, just to show you, It's a track gauge on top and bottom, and it's an N gauge and HO gauge wheel gauge. So this has come in real handy for me, but that was just included in a package I got from them, just doing the shopping. But great hobby shop. These guys, Jeffrey and Andrew, they have great inventory, great service. Really like working with them, and they're just sharp people. So if you get a chance, check them out at Lombard Hobbies.
Rand, you know what? I want to appreciate the fact that you connected me with those two gentlemen. And they are, in fact, sponsoring the What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine starting in January of 2021. I'm putting that video currently together right now. And in that video, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I did 4 different ways to make ponderosa pine trees. Michele can attest to the fact that I've been pulling my hair out and working until 5:30 in the morning for the last 4 days.
Yes.
I crammed it all together right after Thanksgiving, didn't I? And it came out pretty good. These trees, actually, I'll show you a quick clip that I shot outside of these trees, not to spoil it. I'm not going to tell you how I made them on this show. You have to wait until January. But check them out, man. Really cool. 4 different ways to make them. I mean, you can obviously see. Look at the one with the pine needles on it. Isn't that neat? So rock and roll. Look forward to that in January's video. Also in January's video, we have Dennis Krausman showing off his beautiful Santa Fe layout. It's a real treat to see that. And Lombard Hobbies in Lombard, Illinois is sponsoring the What's Neat show starting again in January. Thank you. Go ahead, Rand. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to throw that in there because you're the one that brought us Lombard. You're the one that made the introduction to me.
Well, let me tell you, Lombard has been my main hobby shop for a lot of years now. And I work with Andrew there, who's a co-owner. He remembers things from a year ago. I talked to him on the phone one day and said, "Hey, Rand, I'm still looking for those HO scale brooms that you need." And to have that kind of level of attention and the way they take care of customers, it keeps you coming back. And I got to say, huge inventory. All my Rio Grande stuff that Athearn has released has come from them. In fact, I kid him, they're almost like the EMD of LaGrange, the way they're shipping EMD products out to me. And Andrew is an N-scale modeler, and they had an article, it was in the N-scale railroading number 113 about the Elmhurst Model Railroad Club N-scale. And neat. So all you guys out there in N-gauge land, you got a shop owner that knows this stuff, and these people can help you out. But anyway, I'm glad that worked out because 2 good people hooking up here. So anyway.
I know you're my brother and we have fun. Seriously, back in the 80s, you were seriously one of the great model railroaders of the 80s, similar to that of Malcolm Furlow and so many other great talent that we would see in the pages of Model Railroader magazine.
Well, I was just doing what you did, Ken. I was just imitating you. You'd come out with a great photo and you get me all inspired, and then I would work on a cover, and then you'd critique it for me, and then you taught me. So
we had a lot of back and forth back then. I was honored just to be able to work with you at the time because I learned a lot from you as well.
Well, and we're still doing it to this day, which is really kind of fun.
Well, look how much stuff we've learned from everybody. Look at Mike Buddy. Mike Buddy, who isn't here tonight, changed my life when he taught me how to oil paint weather. I mean,
absolutely, me too.
I mean, that was a game changer for me. Before that, I was just weathering with chalks or an airbrush. But once I saw that you could take oil paints and draw them down into rust streaks, and if you didn't like it, wipe it right off and do it again to get it right. It was a foolproof way to weather, and just amazing. And since we started this podcast, I can't tell you the amazing people that I've met. I met you through the podcast. I met you through the podcast. Look at all the great personalities I met simply by doing this show. It's enriched my modeling abilities, tenfold.
Yeah, I feel like it becomes a little brotherhood, and being able to connect with you guys, but then also me reaching out to some other model railroaders. In fact, I have some things to show you tonight that a fellow modeler, Tom Tuck, sent me a little gift that just changed my life in terms of electronics. I can't wait to show you that. But it's just fun, the fraternity, and I think we've all gotten a lot closer with the COVID thing happening, that we do reach out and we do connect and we do care about each other. And I mean, I'm tickled pink to see Austin tonight because I haven't seen you in a while. And he's teasing me that COVID's going to end soon and he's coming to Colorado, so it'll be great. And he's bringing Joshua too, because we decided we were all going to become Pinky brothers. So.
Absolutely right.
Rock and roll. Chalk us up. Me and Michelle are on our way too.
All right.
Because I want Karen's chili.
Yeah, she's got a couple twists that you're gonna have to stay about a week to go through all the variants. So,
Rand, I'm looking at page 1 here, and you were going to talk about some gondola loads.
oh yeah, some fun things that happen. If you run that little video while I'm talking about this, just to give you an overview. But as I'm modeling all the little debris on my desk, you'll see in this video pieces of decal. Metal shavings, styrene, bits of tinfoil, all that junk I save and I put in a little bag, and I end up putting it, gluing it, and I'll show you here. I end up gluing it on the top of this styrene.
Nice.
And they become these metal loads for me. And as it shows in that video, you put the 3 fulcrum points in this so you can tip it out of a gon so it can become empty pretty fast. But one of the things, I got onto these gon loads because you were working on those flat car loads. So here this inspiration kind of returned, and I remembered younger days, I used to unload a lot of stone. I worked at a stone company, and so I built this load, this actual stone.
Oh, wow.
And
That looks
that
great.
is, you can find stone that flakes off in these little tiny sheets. And so this came from, this is actual Arizona stone. And the reason is, if you take Arizona sandstone and put it in Colorado weather, it flakes. And that's just something I learned from working at a stone company. But they would ship it to us with loose random stones, veneers, and then they would ship flagstone. And so we would go down to the rail yard and lower the gate on the end of the thing and just start unloading it. So that was like the highlight of, kind of my youth was, no, send me. I want to go down and unload those cars. So anyway, that's kind of a side story of, we used a Santa Fe gondola car for that because, it would have been shipped out of Arizona up to Colorado. So
Very cool.
We used to get stone from Western Pacific on the Feather River. And so I just decided I needed to do one of those loads. It took a long time, but it's pretty effective. It's not really that heavy for actually being stone. So, and then other things we've been working on. I sent you a video of a bridge that we're working on up at Pinecliffe. And before I get into it, I got a funny story. Is Karen and I decided, well, we need to go ahead and build 37.47 bridge at Pinecliffe. So we went up to measure it, and lo and behold, when we got up there, what we discovered was it was torn down and just laying on the side of the right-of-way. And so we did some measurements there, but how we salvaged the project was I found the Rio Grande Standards book, and in kind of scaling to photographs, we discovered that it actually, the standards lined up and we were able to figure out the bridge. So we built the bridge, and then while we were working on Pinecliffe, that seems to be where we're kind of stuck right now. We also built the fire department, the volunteer fire department there, and we built 2 trucks, of course, because Mike Buddy inspires me to do vehicles now. And I sent you a little inset of that vehicle that was a Dodge Power Wagon that for some reason in Colorado in the mountains, there just was a score of these things left over from, I don't know, World War II or the early 50s, but these little mountain towns would turn those things into fire trucks. So I just kind of built that a little bit, and just to kind of show you the little building that would house it, because there always seem to be kind of like little temporary buildings. Again, a shout out to my cat for giving me the cat whisker.
For the antenna.
Nice.
Rand, that looks great. I'm impressed. That is some great work.
And that's his cat's whisker right there.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Do I have a video clip of me pulling my cat's whisker? Didn't I run that once? You're
Yes.
probably.
I
I'm
think
looking to
so.
the computer. I'm showing you the clip right now. Oh wow! You know what? She showed up in. I did a video the other day, a 3-hour interview with
Sam Dennehy.
Sam Dennehy.
What a great video that
Sam
was.
Dennehy is the gentleman that we've had on the What's Neat show a couple of times, and he makes cars.
He
Whenever
does
we saw him at
all
the
kinds of cars, the lowriders,
we saw him at the RPM meet, and he had the Ghostbusters. What's that called?
the Ecto One.
Right. This ambulance car, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to zoom on it, but the fact is, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he interviewed me on his podcast. He's got a podcast on YouTube, and the way you find it is you got to look up Half-Ass Presents the Podcast.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Actually, he used to call himself Half-Ass Customs, but
Yeah,
that name was
Half-Ass
already
Customs, right.
taken. If you go to Half-Ass Customs, end up with a prototype automobile chop shop. But you've got to go to Half-Ass Presents the podcast, and you'll find that he's interviewed already 27 very notable car builders in our hobby.
And he's came to probably the last 5 or 6 RPMs here in St. Louis and has just amazing cars, lowriders and souped up monster trucks and all different kinds of things. Watch any of our RPM meets and you'll be able to see who he is and what he has on the table, and it's just amazing work. Very
Right. So
much
I shot some B-roll of the setup I did because I talked for 3 hours and 8 minutes, and I didn't even hang. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't hang myself. I can't believe it. I did so well through that. But I had this table loaded up with automobiles. Sam was on my screen here, and I wasn't interviewing him. He was interviewing me. But we started out the show as if I was. We had some fun. And a lot of great information. We talked about manufacturers. We talked about the hobby. We talked about what's coming in the future for RC cars for our hobby, because I know they're coming someday. A lot of neat stuff. In fact, you made an appearance. You came down here and met Sam Dennehy when I was doing this. The gentleman that wears a hat, remember?
Yeah. Yes.
So that really
Yeah.
turned out, guys. Check it out. It's on YouTube. And Mike Buddy's been interviewed by him, too. I interrupted you, Rand, because I know you were about to talk about the ranch house.
Oh, yeah. More, if you run the video of number 4,
Right.
the whole ranch system, including the donkeys, the fuel, a yard light, just about everything that we could think of, including the rancher unloading some bales of hay, just to have something a little bit different on that. But kind of one of the fun things, I have a couple little models to kind of highlight, but this model is after one that we saw up in on the South Platte Canyon, and this was a little donkey house.
Wow.
And kind of had a little saddle and stuff there. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, but I'm just going too
Looks
far.
good.
Okay. But just to have a little something. And then there was also this little pump house. If you can see, is that right, guys?
We can see your left hand, but not your right hand. Yeah, that's a little. Yeah,
Okay. So
there you go.
Yeah, there's the tank, and then this is the little pump house.
So that's
That's
how the
cool.
cattle
Wow.
get their water, right?
right.
Yeah, so they would pump it out of the creek so they could get it up for the animals, and that's pretty typical along like a little water course. So this is one little ranch setting that's kind of around the corner near that, just past that bridge that I'd showed previously, and then there's one more cabin I'll show you in a little bit. But that just all the little detail elements and getting things lit up, and I've been working a lot more with LED lights since you guys are just going nuts putting all that stuff in track mobiles and everything else. It got me interested. So next on my list was, didn't you and Michele like do these shows like 30 years ago? Did you start going out to shows together? Because I was trying to.
That was before
figure this
kids. Yeah. So yeah.
Because I don't want to
Okay.
leave you out, Michele. I know you're very active in this and supportive of Ken, and I've been talking to Ken at night, and all of a sudden a dinner shows up in front of him, and And I'm like, wow, I want that kind of service. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
I
it's just
don't
the
model,
sandwich
but
of
I
it
do
all.
bring the food. So, I make sure he doesn't starve down here in his cave while he's working. So,
Well, I know how hard
and
Ken works.
I leave to go to the gym at 5:30, and he's still down here working. So,
I have been this week, 5:30 in the morning every night, just getting January's video done. But you can't get behind on schedule. You've got to stay on time, or once you get behind, you're sunk. I mean, we got the podcast that we do all the time, but this isn't about me. This is really about you, because I've been married to you for 30 years this month.
Yes.
And
Last month.
last month, right? And it's just been an absolute.
What day? What day's our anniversary? Go ahead.
it's
Go
been
ahead.
an
Tell them. Tell them
absolute-
what day our anniversary is.
The 21st.
That's my birthday.
See, anyway,
Well, was going to get up to that part.
no, Daniel, how do I
Edit.
fix a situation like that, Daniel? Help me fix that problem.
Do it.
This is from the
do you
podcast
got?
crew, Michelle.
And I make an appearance.
We want.
I
This
get
is,
flowers?
this is.
No
Well,
way. Oh, they're
see that?
gorgeous.
I'm not in trouble anymore.
Not
I guess I'll
anymore.
forgive you for the anniversary.
I love how that
thing. They're gorgeous. I love them.
The whole point is
Cute.
you've been through the journey
Aw.
of model railroading with me,
Yes, I
side
have.
by side.
I have.
And I'm going to embarrass you because I'm going to show some pictures because Randhood
Oh.
says that he loves it when I put pictures on the screen.
Old pictures,
Of-
probably.
So we're going back to 1990, and this is the very first time we set up the Midwest Valley Modelers
The
layout.
hair.
You're standing in front of the Columbia Model Railroad Club at an NMRA meet.
That was before I could afford a real hairdresser. I'm
And
sorry.
So, the next photograph I'm going to show is you are at a 1991. We're set up at the show in Collinsville, Illinois. This is the very first time we set up the Midwest Valley Modelers layout in Collinsville. And Michelle's standing next to the cornfield module, which is a module you're never supposed to stand next to because everybody asks you, how did you make the corn? So we always avoided standing where you are, but I've got a shot of the takedown that night, and you're helping us take down the layout as we stack them up and roll them out. There's Phil Sheehan right there.
Oh, Phil.
I know.
Miss him.
Wonderful.
I miss him.
He's a great. So when we lived in an apartment building in Kirkwood, and this is going to 1994, you used to help me painting a
I
Santa
did.
Fe.
I did remember helping
And you're helping
you.
me mask this locomotive. I love it when you're involved in that. Next photographs that we're going to go to is 1998. We're in Kansas City. We're set up at the NMRA National. When was that in Kansas City?
A
1998.
long time. Yeah.
And there's a shot of you standing next to the layout right here. And you're not standing by the cornfield, smart move. You are standing over by the trees in the forest. And that's when we had all the lighting on the layout. And then there's another shot of me in
long time
Kansas
ago.
City. Of course, look, I got my paws on you and I'm standing next to you. This is back when I used to work out and I was in shape. So yeah, check it out. Happy couple. You also have helped me a lot down here in the basement. And this is also in 1998. And I think I put you to work. You were cleaning wheels on locomotives for
Yeah.
me. I got multiple shots of this. And I think I've run this in the What's Neat show somewhere talking about wheel cleaning. But just dynamite. And that is the layout in the background. Aaron Hess photographed us when we lived in Kirkwood, and I don't remember what year this was. This had to be prior to 1993 because we moved into this house in '94.
Yeah, you looked 12, so
So I'm next to you, standing next to the Midwest Valley Modelers grain elevator module, and Aaron Hess shot the picture of you and I, and we were set up in a schoolyard shooting photographs. And when we went to Las Vegas, you and I together, I jumped in a rental car, and you, of course, came along with me, and we went out and started rail fanning together. So here's a shot of you
did.
sitting in the
Oh,
desert.
I remember that.
And there's
I
the tracks in the
remember.
background. We're just waiting for a train to
remember.
come, and finally this Union Pacific stack train came through. Actually, the top shot that I just showed was actually Kingman, Arizona, because we kept driving until we found Kingman. And you know
did.
what? Thank you for the beautiful children.
Oh, look at Tyler.
It's
Oh, I think
Christmas,
he was
right?
5. I think he was 5 or.
And so we used the children for this Bachman ad trying to sell
And now he's
Williams
going to
products.
college. I can't believe it.
I know, the first person in 4 generations in my family to go to college. Congratulations, Tyler.
Yep.
And,
Tyler.
of course, Anna.
Oh.
We used her in a Williams ad as well. Bachman loves it when I do this. But, you know, the models are free, and it works. This is when we only set up a half of a Christmas tree in the breezeway. It's in September, and it's 110 degrees in there with the floodlights.
That was hot.
I've got a couple more pictures that I'm looking at here. Remember Bob Schleicher at Rail Model Journal? In fact, we went to his house, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
And here's a picture of Bob Schleicher and Bob Bickley together at a trade show. This is up in Chicago at the Hobby Model Show when that was a big show. And there's another photograph of you sitting next to Bob Bickley having a conversation.
I remember that.
Probably talking about I didn't wear 2 pairs of glasses back then, so you weren't talking about that.
Neither of us wore any glasses, Ken. We wore no glasses.
I know, right?
We were young.
The last picture I'm going to show was the 1998 Wathers catalog cover that we set up in the backyard. That was a very large city. Mike Buddy is on the show tonight because here he is in this photograph. And you and I are standing next to the 4 modules of the Midwest Valley Modelers layout that we lined up. Plus, we've got some buildings stacked in the background that John Heitzman had built for us out of plexiglass. A lot of effort went into shooting the 1998 cover. The one building is a Chrysler building, and I think Wathers edited that building out of the photograph, so that one didn't appear on the cover. That was when Photoshop was just starting to take over. So yeah, thank you so much for the journey and how you followed me along to the hobby and pretty much just put up with me.
It wasn't that bad. I love my flowers.
I know, Rand
Thank
Hood.
you.
Where do I go
Thank you
from
for my
there?
Flowers.
Oh, I don't know. That's pretty good.
Haven't you been out in the mountains running lately, Rand, or riding that bike?
Yes, been really racking up some miles on the bike now because I'm kind of down with a foot injury from running. So Michele did coach me on what I needed to do in terms of hot and cold so I can get back to running. But every year, there's 2 ways I'll go. We have track diagrams from Denver to Salt Lake City, and we mark out our mileage. So if we're
How
going
many
to
have you got now? What's your accumulative mileage now?
right now, I'm at 1,016 miles.
Wow.
So I've got a friend in Illinois, in Chicago, that I have to get 1,039 miles from my doorstep to his, and then I'll call him when I'm about ready to go out and run and say, turn on the light, I'm coming. And he looks forward to when I can do that every year just to keep healthy. And then the other way is if we follow the Rio Grande Railroad, right now we're trying to get to Helper, Utah, and maybe up over Soldier Summit before the new year. But then we start over. So, but thank you, Michele, for coaching me on the hot and cold and the time, because that's really helped take down the swelling in my foot so I can get back to doing what I like to do, and that's running.
Michele, you know what else you did one time that was a lot of fun? You got some food. It was some food in the mail. What is that where you order food and it shows up on the back porch?
Well, a Nutrisystem.
That was it. And it was packed in dry ice. And Joshua was here. And you gave us the dry ice to play with in the
What
basement.
a fun
Do you
evening
remember
that
that?
was. Yeah, absolutely.
And Joshua was sitting there, and he's a professional
Oh,
cook.
that's
So
right. I did
a chef,
do the
right?
dry ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being a professional chef, you're well aware of what you can do with dry ice.
Absolutely.
And so we took it over on the river module over here and put it in some water and made some amazing video footage that I'm showing you right now of fog on the river diorama over there.
It turned out really, really well.
But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure was.
Thanks for bringing that to us. And the only reason I brought that up was when I was looking for some clips tonight, I found that clip from
Nice.
2018.
A while ago. It was a while ago since I died.
While I was digging in there, I found some photographs. There's another photograph I didn't bring up yet, and that was when we were at a NMRA show in Long Beach, California, Michele. You ran into Gary Coleman, wasn't that his name?
Yes. Yeah,
And
yeah,
he
nice
was-
guy.
We were in the booth right next to him shooting NMRA photographs, and that young man was absolutely enamored with you. And we shot
He's
a
a nice
photograph.
guy. He was a really nice guy.
We
Down
shot
to
a
earth.
photograph of you and him together. I'm going to show that picture right now. And I think he modeled N scale. But yeah, how
Yeah.
cool. That was a cool moment.
Yeah, I talked to him a lot at that show, and he was really down to earth, and he, he told me he was always upset because the public sees him according to what the tabloid headlines were, and he wanted people to know he was really a normal, nice guy, and I have a feeling that's true with a lot of people that are in the public eye, and celebrities and famous people. So,
Yeah.
if
He used to come
you're a
in-
famous person and watch the show, and you want people to know how down to earth you are, let us know. We'll have you on the show. You
Absolutely.
can tell everybody.
How about that? While I was going through the video clips tonight, I also found a videotape. I didn't know it, but I made a video to install and show you how to install the NCE power system on my layout. I actually made a complete video on how to do that, and I haven't run it in Model Railroad Hobbyist What's Neat, but I'm running a clip right now to show what you get, because I was showing what was in the box. So clip number 94 and 95 I'm running right now, showing you the NCE power system and how it comes in the box. It's got the panel, it's got the handheld throttle, and it's got the main system and the power supply. And you know what? Rock and roll just in time for Christmas. That's exactly what you need to buy for your favorite model railroader, is this DCC system, because it is in fact the power of DCC. We really appreciate Jim Scourse for 2 years now helping us promote and create the show that we do, the What's Neat This Week podcast. So check it out at ncedcc.com. And with that, we're going to go back out the Rand hood, because I know you're going to start talking about signals, because Joshua wants to know.
I do.
Okay, well, there's nothing more Rio Grande than the signals out there in the mountains, because it's just this lonely little light, whether it be red or green. Out in the lonely outposts of the forest, and it's just something that's so iconic to the Rio Grande. I just can't not do it. So the first thing I did was, just went through all my reference photos and started scaling everything out. And luckily I had done enough research 30 years ago that I know how to build these. So what I've come up with, the closest that I can do that's just to scale and incredible, is Showcase Miniatures. Debbie and Walter that run this company, they make incredible products. Now, they are Craftsman kits, so they do take some time to do, but they're very much worth the detail that you're going to get. I put the things together, and I'll just say this, please use really good CA glue. I use mercury adhesive, and that works really good. And then also any of the lenses, which, by the way, when you buy a kit from them, they're like $15.99, I think, for the kit, and it's a double signal, comes with the ladders, everything you see on there. And they also come with a lens now, which is really cool. And my recommendation is put the stuff in with this micro crystal clear. And the reason being is if you ever have to access the LEDs, which I've had to do because I'd goose something up, you can tear right in there and get them out. The other thing they also sell is a tricolor LED to put in the top, which, believe me, makes life easy. And they sell the head kits, they sell wig-wag signals, they sell details. Believe me, these people have an incredible line of products, and I'm just happy to have found them, and they're so nice to me. In fact, I'm going to be getting a package from them on Monday with more signals, because I have to build this single headlight on that. But I just wanted to show you, this is one of the kits that they sell. The doors are separate. And
wow,
so
you've got all the relays in there.
No kidding.
Wow, Rand.
Now, what this is, the way that I bought it, it was double height, and I cut it down to be the Rio Grande standard, and then bent the little ladder and stuff on here, because Rio Grande used GRS, and then the USS signal one, they offer the little lens hoods and things so you can change them out. So I can actually do Rock Island with the long extended hood, and I can do the GRS system this way.
And what was the name of the website?
Showcase Miniatures.
Miniatures.
It might be .com, I'm not sure, but please check them out. Debbie and Walter there, they go out of their way to help you, and just great people. They get such good reviews out there. People just fall in love with their products, and them as people. They're very good people.
How about that? Rand, you had a jig here. It looks like a styrene jig. What is that for?
Okay, that jig is to keep everything uniform. And believe me, if you do not, you're going to have variances in your signals, and they won't be consistent. So,
right, I understand.
Yeah, that's the smart
right.
thing
So
to do.
I'll show you this thing again. I know you've got the still shot of it.
Right. Oh wow.
But it's just to hold the the thing in place while I'm gluing it, and then also it tells me where to drill the holes and everything that I need to set these. So it's pretty straightforward what I do with this signal.
When you wire up those signals, do you have to use resistors on them?
Yes, and
How do you go about figuring out what type of resistor to use, Rand?
okay, here's the beauty. This is where I got to give a shout out to my friend Tom Tuck. I had built the signals. I told Tom I was working on this project, and he's like, well, how are you going to light them, Rand? And I said, well, I'm really struggling because I bought a bunch of LEDs, and I've discovered that a red is a lot dimmer than a green signal. And he's like, you know what? Watch the mail. I'm sending you something. And lo and behold, he sent me this programmable resistor board. And if you would run video 6, you'll see how this thing works. Is you can you kind of set this thing up, and you can manipulate on this board various currents. So I discovered that a red signal only needs like 10K resistor on it. But a green signal, as you see in video 6, I went from so bright that it's unrealistic to another setting of 100K, that's the way I want to view these things. Because one thing I have noticed in model railroad signaling is they're way too bright, and it just blows the illusion. And if I'm going to this much work to make these real, I certainly want the lighting to look correct.
Right.
So I have to thank Tom Tuck for sending me this, because the next thing that happened was in video 7, he said, get yourself a whole bunch of resistors. So I built a signal tower, and then using this programmable board, I bought resistors, and here's a shot of, you just get this package. This is $8. I'm not even showing you part of what's inside of this.
That's a lot of resistors. Yeah. Look at that.
That's just part of them. And there's like 20 of each type. So I can dial in on my programmable board and come up with, the resistors and say, yeah, that works. And I have adjusted these things numerous times to try to get the most realistic. And it's going to change, obviously, for every manufacturer of LEDs, the brightness.
Right.
So, I've discovered that the yellow is on this kind of the same par of brilliance as a red signal. So I can almost use the same resistor there. But this has really changed, well, it really changed my life in doing electronics for modeling, because I don't do that kind of thing. I'm a little out of my depth of field, but this nice man sent this thing to me, and I'm off and running, and being able to get things correct now. Josh, do you have any questions on these signals?
No, they're actually amazing. I can't wait till the end of the show so I can get on my computer and order me some.
Yeah, you can order them. They'll come double heads with the ladders and everything, and a lot of extra parts for them. They have it where they're on a relay cabinet, and they'll come where it's just a pole, so you can choose which way or what's going to be your prototype that you're looking to kind of emulate.
I'm doing the DeSoto sub here in Missouri, of the Missouri Pacific.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
So I don't know if they'll have something that's compatible with what's on my railroad, but that really gives me the option. I can get them, and I think I can kit bash a little bit and do something.
Yeah, I've done a little of that because the Rio Grande actually angled their ladders. And what's cool about Showcase Miniatures was, oh, hey guys, if you need to extend that bottom platform so that you have an angle, we're giving you this little platform extender kit that's part of it. And so I just had to glue that up and put it in there. So I mean, I have a 100% prototypical signal. And I mean, these things are scaled correctly. I mean, that pole is a 1/16 of an inch. I've never seen anything like it, and it's a thin wall, so you can run all the magnet wires and things down it. And like I said, they also have the tricolor LEDs, so that is a big help
Yeah.
to do that.
What kind of track did you say you used on your lathe that you're building? And what it's called a Fountain
Fountain City Railroad.
Fountain City
Yes.
Railroad. What kind of track did you use on that?
Microengineering.
Right. And Austin Allard, you're building a new layout. I've seen pictures on Facebook of what you're working on. In fact, your room is starting to look really great. You've
Thank
got
you.
some furniture down there, a big TV. The train
Yeah.
runs around the outside perimeter. You even got your Christmas tree set up down there. There's a picture
Yeah.
I'm showing right now.
Christmas tree already?
Yeah.
Wow. That's,
Yeah.
Well, it's December, I guess.
Yeah.
I know. We got to put ours up, don't we?
Yeah.
Can we put a train around it this year? Daniel, you're doing a train, aren't you?
Well, they get knocked, I mean, all the cars get knocked over by the cat, so.
Yes. Yes. The cat.
Yes.
The cat that made the appearance on that show with Denny.
Sam
Sam Dennehy too.
That's
Stripe
right.
made an appearance on that podcast. But I mean, you also had some video on Facebook, and tell us what we're seeing. Some of the trains that you run on that layout. You love to run long trains, don't you?
Yeah, so I'm back to modeling the UP in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So in the videos, you're going to see an auto rack train and a coal train, which obviously you know the coal train.
Yes, I do.
The power plant that I'm modeling, or going to model, is Labadee. Whereas you modeled, what, Rush Island, I think?
The one south of me here, Merrimack.
Yeah, that's
Merrimack
it.
River. Those cars went behind my house.
Yeah.
And when I modeled the bluff, I'm sorry.
Either way, they're the same car.
Stab me.
It's the same train, goes to the same plant.
I know, right? How about that show with Campbell Rice? The cars were flying around in Illinois, and I think the guys loved it when we had those bloopers. But that wasn't meant to be a blooper. Sorry about that. Another thing I wanted to talk about. You know what? Speaking of fun shows, that was fun the last time you were on Michele with Denny Yelsma.
Yeah. That was a great
And I'm
show.
wearing my shirt again from Yelsma
Yeah.
Graphics.
I am too. Look at this. Check it out. We got our Yelsma
What a
shirts on.
coincidence. Yeah.
And you know why we're wearing these? Because Denny is giving free shipping to everybody this month that buys jackets. Not baseball caps. You buy a baseball cap, you got to pay for shipping. But if you buy one of those jackets, you save about $12 on shipping. And the graphics are absolutely beautiful. He has over 1,300 different graphics in his line. Every single railroad. What a great gift for Christmas, folks. I mean, the moms out there that want to buy their son something really cool, or the wives that want to buy their husband a really cool thing, but I already have a really good jacket. Rock and roll. Denny's got it made out for you. It's all ready to go. And in fact, it was Joshua Barton that made us meet Denny, because
right.
we did the first interview with him in Kansas City, Missouri.
City at the,
and
yeah.
you were on it. You were like, we needed some garb for our show.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the stitching was so beautiful that you thought,
I stopped writing my tracks and I said, Ken, let's interview him right now. And
I
that's
know.
exactly what we did.
2 cameras.
great.
I pointed
Yeah.
the cameras at him, and you did the interview. That was
Yeah.
the first interview you did for me, and
Very
you did
first
great.
interview ever, yeah.
So yeah, rock and roll. Denny at Yelsma.com. Free jacket this month, folks.
No,
It's
free
Christmas.
shipping. Free shipping.
Did I say free jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah. Free shipping.
Edit that
Don't get
out,
him into
folks.
trouble. He's going to be giving out free jackets if you screw that up.
Well, he has given away free hats to a few people. But rock and roll. Super nice guy. I love that show. Thank you for being on it. Thank you for being on this one. In fact, you're going to be on next week's show too, because we have Jennifer Kirk from the UK, and you asked me if we could get her as a guest.
Yeah, she's great.
So
I love her.
Next week's going to be fun too.
Look forward to that.
I know. I love how we're running through all the things on my list. The reason I asked what kind of track you got, and I was leading up to something, what kind of track do you use? Atlas or microengineering?
Atlas.
Do you? I use Atlas in my yard because it's simple and fast, and they sent me a box of it one time, like a whole
cheap.
box. But I was down at microengineering this week. Surprise, surprise, because I go down there every week, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
And something I want to talk about, and it's interesting because I had a phone call from the folks at Model Railroad Hobbies magazine about rail. And they were asking me about microengineering rail and how it's made. The fact is, this is a piece of rail. This is a cut piece of actual rail. And this is what microengineering rail looks like. If you look at it, and I've got an O-scale piece on the table, and don't worry about zooming in on this, you're just going to have to trust me, okay? This is exactly the way rail is supposed to look. It looks this way in HO scale, it looks this way on their N scale rail and their O scale rail. And so track is a model too. So you've already heard me brag about how great microengineering track is in that it's got scale spikes, it's got the wood grain, it looks absolutely fantastic. But the fact is, the shape of their rail is also correct as to the real prototype. And that's the beauty of it. So when you use microengineering track on your layout, plus they're working on a website too. They're in the process where the website is going to be improved in the next few months, where it'll be able to take a shopping cart and all that different wonderful technology. It is coming to microengineering. So stay tuned on that. And that was the last thing on my list that I really had to talk about tonight. So Rand Hood, you want to continue on with the rest of what you have on the paper here?
Okay. Video 8
Yes.
is, it's, oh, gee, I found out that, what is it? That I wanted 47K for these Detail West crossing arms. And there's an insert picture, number 1, that'll show you that when you buy the Detail West kits, they come with a huge honking LED, and I spent 2-3 hours putting those in and not getting the covers to close properly. And I mean, I worked on it. I chamfered the backs. I did all this. And finally, Karen walked by and she says, "You look pretty frustrated." And I said, "Yeah, this is going against, I want everything prototypically correct." And she says, "Well, you've got all these LEDs," and then of course the light bulb goes off. And so the insert photo number 1 shows this little tiny LED in there, and you can see the big LED that I replaced.
Wow.
And you can make clear lenses and paint them with Model Master bright red pearl, and it's a little bit translucent, and it actually makes the lens caps look correct. And then I also, by being able to do that, I enclosed a prototype photo, insert number 2, and that shows on the side of every crossing signal, there's a little white light that shows up for the crews to see if that crossing buck is actually functioning.
Right.
Well, what? I can do a number 79 hole in the side of the Detail West with a white LED inside, and I've just reproduced this.
How cool.
So rock and roll, the detail level just went up 100-fold for me. So this has all been part of the quest of trying to do the electronics and things that the railroad needs. And so that was another little discovery that I'm just quite pleased that these little LEDs, ever since the Trackmobile premiered, that's all I've been doing. I'm like obsessed with these things now.
How about that?
And so much so, the last that I have is this little cabin. It was videos 9 shows this little cabin that I built up for Pinecliffe, to the point where let's put in these little Christmas lights that go around, just because I can put the resistor on it and get them low enough that they actually look real. And I'm not doing a chase or anything. It's just this, you'll see a shot with just the porch light on and the guy sitting there. It's just for the guy to sit out there in the evening and kind of enjoy the trains and whatnot. Because I have seen pictures on eBay or the people with a little barbecue in the back of their cabin watching the Rio Grandes go by, and I'm like, I want that place.
How about that? That looks dynamite. I've got one more clip I'm going to run. I've pretty much covered all the family members in my family and how we use them on video. But I found this one clip in the computer when I was searching tonight. It'll teach me to do this, right? I've got this lumber car, and we have a bird, a parrot named Pia. And Pia is sitting here on the lumber car, observing the layout, just being a good girl, just standing right here on the freight car. I mean, how else to close out a show and just to show a lot. You guys love the bloopers, but this is for real. This is daily life around here in the home. I know, right? And then we've got Stripe, our wonderful cat. We've talked about that, and she loves you. She's such a sweet cat.
It's me.
She hates everybody but Ken.
She's just
Only likes Ken.
happy cat.
That's it.
Who makes these
Anybody.
boxcars?
That's
Value Trains.
USA.com.
Value Trains USA. What's the gentleman's name?
That is Derek Sampson.
Derek Sampson. You know what? These would fit in a stocking.
Absolutely.
Get yourself a What's Neat This Week boxcar. And
That's
with
it.
that, folks,
We can't do any better than that.
I want to thank Rand Hood tonight for coming. Good job with all your how-tos, Rand. We love it when you're here.
Yes, come back more often, please.
And Austin Allard, you know, I can't wait to get back out there. That was fun when you and I were out there checking out Rand's house
Yes,
and
it
going through it.
was.
It was like walking through his own art gallery.
Karen's chili.
Karen's Chili, rock and roll. Oh my God, you're going to love it, Michelle, when you go out there. It's so beautiful.
know, I can't wait.
It's the most beautiful. His outdoor garden. What a setup, Rand. You are a true museum designer and artist, and it shows. Sugarfire Joshua, glad
Yeah.
you're doing well. Everything's good. And the Fountain City Railroad is coming along.
That's right.
And I want you to talk about that because you showed me some photographs of that a few weeks ago, and I was blown away at the progression and all of the fact that you've been actually photographing it and documenting it.
Yeah,
I
every
think
little bit.
that would make a great segment on our show. Michelle, thank you so much for sitting in with us and hanging out with us. I know that it's just the best hobby in the world with all the best people in it. We've got Danielle Coombs running camera for us tonight. Thank you so much, Danielle, for doing that. We can't wait to see your Christmas train set up that you're setting up around the tree. I know you've been talking in great depth about that. So we're at 50 minutes, folks. Pretty long show, but it's a great month and a lot of good material coming up for the next 2 shows in a row. So with that, guys, this is where we say, let's go run some trains.
See you later.
Yeah.